Hi, this weekend has been about 20 Celsius degrees and today it is a bit of rain, so grass will start growing like crazy. And this could mean that you just took out your Husqvarna Rider from winter storage or maybe just bought one, and you might be helped by this video because I will list 5 common problems with Husqvarna Rider. I have not included any problems with engine or transmission, as the engine and transmissions are similar to many other riding lawnmowers. I have not included anything about the Husqvarna Rider 1 series, and it's not because there's no problem with those, but I have no experience, so I just leave that to whoever has one. They can make a video about that. It would be great. Common problem with Husqvarna Rider number 5 is that the wire to this hydrostatic transmission breaks. And the symptom is that you might be able to go forward but not reverse, or as it was in my case, I could reverse but I could not go forward. So how do we check if it is the wire? Then we have to go to the rear. So down here you see a shiny piece with some rubber on, and if I move the pedal forward and reverse pedals, the whole transmission should move. So if you don't have a camera, you have to have a friend helping you with this. This is forward and this is reverse. As you could see, it worked. And if you have any other problems here with the transmission, this link or something, then it might not work either. So check here if you have a problem with your transmission first. If you have the problem with the hydrostatic wire, that it's broken, my recommendation is that first of all, buy a new wire from Husqvarna. Yeah, they are expensive, but they do last a very long time. And second of all is that you check my video that I have on how to change the hydrostatic wire, and I'll put a link. I think it's up here, or is it up here? I'll put a link up there somewhere. In order to see problem number 4, we have to go inside the rider. We have to go in here, and here you can see a big spring, and this is a steering return spring. You can also see how it is connected up here. No, sorry, up here. So there's the spring, and then you have a connection over there. And if you have a problem with this spring, what will happen is that if you do a full turn, like you do a turn all the way, the rider will keep going in a circle, and it will not like go straight again. So when you have this spring, it will actually return this rear steering part to central or neutral. If this spring is bad, then you have to replace whatever parts are bad. Oh, usually it's not the spring itself, but these connectors. And the spring is really tough, so it's really hard to replace it. I have a video on it, and you can check it out. But if this spring is bad, you can still use the rider, but you'll see that, yeah, in some instance it's not that great. But yeah, that's fault number 4. All right, where are we? Yes, number 3. One thing that can happen is that the rim or the wheel, they get stuck on the axle. Usually in the rear, but it can actually happen in the front also on some machines. And you might not notice this until you have to remove this to change a puncture or change to some cooler tires or something like that. And it can be really hard to get it off. I've been using a pipe clamp like this with a puller, but I recently found a bearing extractor that I think it's better, but it's not perfect. I did a short video on that, so I will give you a link up there. But I have also had a problem once where I had to weld a big nut on the rim and then use a screw to use as an extractor. So then I got a lot of heat and also a lot of force, and then I could remove one wheel, but it can be really painful. So my recommendation is that if you have a new rider, remove the wheels and put on some anti-seize or some grease or something to ensure that it's easy to remove them in the future. And if you have one that is stuck but you don't need to remove it, you can try to spray some oil, penetrating oil or something in here, and then put the cap back, and hopefully it will kind of slush around here and make it easier once you really need to remove the wheel. Fault number 2 is something that is maybe something people are not that aware of, and it is that this axle here gets worn. And what happens is that when you go forward and reverse, the whole rear part of the rider moves, and this could cause noise, and it could cause some vibrations that you feel inside the rider. The older ones, they actually have a grease nipple here that you can put grease in, and that will reduce the wear, but some people forget about it and then they wear down. The newer riders from, I think from 2001 or something like that, they're actually lacking this grease nipple. So they have a steel pin and a bushing, and when they wear out, yeah, you have to open it up and replace them. I've done this on 2 riders, and I did also drill and tap for a grease fitting, so I kind of upgraded my newer machine to what the old machines already have. I have 3 riders here, so let's see how much these move, how worn they are. I haven't checked it, so yeah, we'll see. It moves a bit, not too bad, maybe. Yeah, you see the axle is still, but the whole rear part is moving. Let's check this one. Ooh! Wow! That's really bad. I don't know, maybe something is broken here. Okay. What about this machine here? This is almost like it was when it was new. So it's okay. All right. There you have it. That's problem number 2. The most common problem on Husqvarna Riders is actually this tensioner pulley. But it's not the pulley itself, but this arm here. Because when you release the cutting deck, this arm is what tension the belt that goes from here to the front, to the cutting deck. This is the tensioner. And if this one gets stuck on the axle that's in here, you will not get the cutting deck working. It will not move. And this is, I think, pretty common after storing the rider, because maybe you wash it and then you get water in here and it seizes on the axle. The solution is actually really simple, because there is a grease nipple here. So keep this greased and it will work, especially before you store the rider. You see, this one is actually working. If you cannot get it to take grease, maybe you have to spray some thinner oil or something here and then just try to get the grease in here. You can move this by hand if you just release that cutting deck lever and make it with a lot of grease in there. I recommend that you grease it at least once a season, and definitely before storage, because it's usually after storage that these ones get stuck. That was 5 common problems with the Husqvarna Rider. And even though I say common, it's not like they break all the time, but these are the 5 faults that I think are the most common. The Rider is a really good product. It's a very high quality. I have one that I use and it's almost 40 years. It's from 1987. So next year it's a 40-year-old machine and it still runs very, very well. I hope you liked this video. Please give it a thumbs up or write a comment if you don't agree or if you do agree. Thank you for watching. Bye.